What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Sunday, January 21st, 2024, and we are back for another. Well, this is another impromptu live. It's not even midday, but I was definitely going to talk about this when I found this bit of news out. Ron DeSnowflake has suspended his presidential campaign due to the numbers or lack thereof in the Iowa caucus. Now, what's crazy is that he came in second, but it was a very low-hanging fruit second, and he dropped out before Nimrata. So, you had ramen noodles drop out before him, and then now Ron DeSnowflake has announced that he has gone ahead and suspended his campaign. We are 21 days into this month, and it's just been wake-up call after wake-up call after wake-up call. 2024 is already setting up to be a great one. Last night we had to do that impromptu triple P on Dom Lecrae, and shout out to Kid Gravity with the assist on that. And now here we are, less than 24 hours later, to go in on Ron DeSnowflake. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Make sure you go ahead and hit that bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Shout out to all of my subscribers that are here in the chat. Shout out to those who are my patrons over on Patreon, the members, everyone on Instagram, Twitter, Discord, all of that good stuff as well. Thank you all for being here this evening. Now, before we go ahead and get into it, let me go ahead and acknowledge the people who are here so far. We have Mr. Williams, Stephen Porter, Denise Scales, Chris Miller, Enlighten, Brooklyn Queen, Ice Spider, Vahan Nassanian, Till Dog 12, Queen Imani, Code Red, Pi May, KG the Barber, DeMarcus Vaughn, Irving Green, Bonnie B, Savion Draco, JB Easy, RY, Donna C, RD, Letitia, Patricia, A Moody, Tempest, Cosma Fury, Grape Shot, James Square, Anita Harrell, Tidra Mitchell, DC Precise, James, Bot Boy, 225 Girl, Joseph Washington, Wallow J, J Cage, D Foster, Hacksign KT, Lady Rule, Faith. Let's see who else. Antithesis, Sandra Evans, Felicia McCrae, Iron Will, PGH Big Dog, Deneen Grant, Jamar McGill, Righteous Daughter, Gregory Robinson, Queen of Spades, Patience is a Virtue, Tracy Delgado, 225 Girl, God Amongst Mortals, and so more to come. Brian, shout out to you. I just see you just came right on in. We have 145 people in here so far. Listen, it's getting it. I don't know what it is. I have no clue what it is. Now, I'm almost assuming that if Ron DeSnowflake has dropped out, Ramen Noodles dropped out, it's only a matter of time before Nimrata drops out because she was third in the Iowa caucus. Now, if number 2 dropped out, it's only a matter of time before number 3 drops out. And the crazy part about this is, now let me just give this disclaimer before anybody tries to say anything like, oh, you're being a Trump supporter. First off, I am an independent. I support neither side, as neither side has spoken to me directly about what I would want out of a president. But what I found to be very interesting is that Ron DeSnowflake has done more debates than 45. He's campaigned more than 45. 45 literally probably just started, if you want to be technical, really getting into it probably within the last couple of weeks, if you want to be technical, and literally is off to the races as if he started off fresh, just like everybody else did back in like August when they started doing the debates. And he is sweeping them up. They're letting you know that's who they want. The rest of y'all are just there. Y'all are just there. But it didn't stop Ron DeSnowflake from being a political pick-me, much like ramen noodles, because one of the first things he did after he announced that he was dropping out of the race, which I'm going to play the video. I'm going to read the article and then I'm going to play the video, is saying that he's going to endorse 45. They are all out here looking for a job, y'all. They are all out here bucking for a job. And not even just the snowflake and ramen noodles people who ran. No, but you also got people who are throwing their hat back in who've been out, such as Tim Scott, making a complete and utter fool of himself in this video that I saw of him on Twitter yesterday. And then you got Ben Carson, who they just dug up out of nowhere. He clawed his way out to try to say, I'm going to endorse 45. Remember, we haven't seen him since 45 left office back in 2020. So again, they all need work. And this is the way that they feel that they are going to get that work. I don't know about y'all, but seeing them act that pathetic actually, makes me feel a little bit better about myself, knowing I would never debase myself in that manner, especially not as a grown man. I'm just saying. That's just me. That's just me. Faith said, is it anybody young running? Pfft, nope. The youngest person that was running was Ramen Noodles. He was the only one who was running who was young. He was like, what, 38? Everyone else is like the next person that would have been DeSantis, because he's in his early 40s. Then you got Nimrata, who is like in her 50s. And then 45, he's in his 80s. So yeah. So he was the youngest person running. And as you can see, that didn't work well for him. Fake and phony doesn't win anything. But let me go ahead now and share the screen. And I'm going to read the article first, and then I'm going to play the video in which he announces him dropping out of the race altogether. And then I'll drop the link, because it's not going to take me long to get through this, because the reason why I didn't go live sooner is because I wanted to see if there was anything else that came out between the time of them announcing that he dropped out and now. I wanted to wait for a little bit time to pass, because I could have easily went live as soon as I saw it, but it was still fresh. I wanted to see if there was anything else coming out, but really nothing has changed since 2 hours ago. Florida Governor Ron DeSnowflake on Sunday ended his once promising presidential campaign, which steadily deflated as he struggled to connect with voters and convince Republicans to swap Donald Trump for a younger, more disciplined champion of his ideas. To be honest, the worst thing that could have happened for DeSnowflake's campaign was 45 running. I said if 45 did not run, then DeSnowflake might have had a chance. But when 45 decided to throw his hat in the ring, I said it was over before it even began. DeSantis, age 45, had seemed to many Republicans like the most viable challenger to Trump after the 2022 midterms, when the governor won re-election by a landslide. But he started to lose ground in polling even before his official campaign launch in May, via a glitchy live chat that neatly embodied the way his grand plans were going awry. His exit came just 2 days before voting in New Hampshire, where Trump appears to be closing in on another victory that would underscore his unrivaled grip on the GOP. It is clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. I wonder what gave him that notion. DeSantis said in a video message that he posted Sunday afternoon on the social media site X, formerly known as Twitter. They watched his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare to this day to attack him. He acknowledged quote-unquote disagreements with Trump. He spent the past year effectively calling Trump self-absorbed and ineffective, but suggested Trump's remaining GOP rival, Nimrata, Ron Howard, was worse. We can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of over-corporatism that Nimrata represents. Now, notice he's doing the same thing that Ramen Noodles did. He talked ill about his rival, and then all of a sudden, like a switch flipped, and now you're his friend. Like I told you, I could never debase myself or lower myself to this point right here. And these people are politicians, y'all. They are politicians. Even before DeSantis dropped out, Nimrata had emerged as the most viable challenger to Trump, polling closer to him in New Hampshire, where independents and moderate Republicans have given her a particular boost. But it's not clear that she can pull off an upset and also faces a tough road ahead, which means it's going to be a matter of time before she gets these violins too. On Sunday, she said DeSantis ran a great race and has been a good governor. That's debatable. Having said that, it's now one fella and one lady left. The second-term governor echoed Trump's combative style and America First rallying cry while arguing he would be more electable, truer to conservative values, and more effective at executing an agenda. He appealed heavily to the party base as someone willing to dig in on polarizing issues and go to battle with critics, the media, and companies such as Disney. Struggling to make headway against Trump, he increasingly criticized the former president as quote-unquote high risk and low reward for the Republican Party. But DeSantis' strategy fell flat as voters refused to leave Trump and even gravitated back to him, galvanized by outrage at the former president's 4 criminal indictments. DeSantis alienated more moderate primary voters and donors who increasingly looked to former UN Ambassador Nimrata as a Trump alternative. Awkward interactions on the trail dogged his campaign, spawning viral videos and feeding the governor's longtime reputation for aloofness. Once poised for what he called a two-man race with Trump, DeSantis barely bested Nimrata for a distant second in Iowa, the state where he bet the vast majority of his time and resources. After Iowa, DeSantis confronted a difficult map with no obvious states to help him turn the tide. And a sprawling DeSantis operation that quickly amassed more than $100 million was plagued by infighting and distrust among different factions. DeSantis loyalists in Tallahassee clashed with the national consultants brought in to run a supportive super PAC, their tensions culminating in the late creation of a new group and the resignations and firing of top officials. Discussions about potentially dropping out began last week as DeSantis' team insisted he was staying in and turning his sights to South Carolina. The governor had told donors and allies he had enough money to get through South Carolina, but senior staff did not see a path to victory. According to a person familiar with the conversations, who, like others, spoke on the condition of anonymity to share private thinking, DeSantis was on track to post a single-digit percentage showing in New Hampshire. Polls showed, which could have made his exit more embarrassing. DeSantis told one advisor last week that he has resigned, that he would probably lose, but was not ready to pull the cord. He wasn't going to even break single digits in New Hampshire and had no path in South Carolina, said a person close to the governor. He was trying to tell everyone he was just going to hang out and wait for Trump's legal challenges to play out, but that wasn't feasible, and he knew it. A GOP star for his strident opposition to the woo-woo restrictions in Florida, DeSantis enacted an aggressive home state agenda in the run-up to his campaign. He passed laws limiting discussion of the LGBTQ issues in schools, defunding college quote-unquote diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, and banning abortion after roughly 6 weeks of pregnancy, among many others. And I had told people, if he was to become president, I said people who worrying about Biden right now, I said DeSantis would be worse if that man became president. Because look at how he runs Florida. Imagine him running all 50 states and territories. He called Florida, and I saw some people write it in the chat, and this is his quote, "the place where woke goes to die," touting the GOP's new dominance in the state and his nearly 20-point margin of victory in 2022, which led the New York Post to nickname the governor the Future. Despite the national buzz, some Republicans who work with DeSantis in Florida harbored doubts that his success in the state would translate on a national stage. As governor, they said DeSantis was effective, but also ruthless and insular, unenthusiastic about the social aspects of politics, and keeping a small circle of trust that centered on his wife. Replacing his campaign manager in August, DeSantis chose a loyal aide from the governor's office without campaign experience, a shakeup that one fundraiser panned as a rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Money was one of DeSantis's big advantages when he entered the race. His campaign raised a formidable $8 million within 24 hours of launching, and more than $80 million left over from his gubernatorial reelection was transferred to his primary super PAC, Never Back Down, which took on many functions traditionally handled by his campaigns and pushed the limits of legal restrictions on such an outside group's ability to coordinate with their favorite candidate. Never Back Down built a massive door knocking program, took on some of his private plane costs, and hosted many of DeSantis' events, inviting him as a quote unquote special guest. But the campaign quickly ran into financial trouble after launching with a massive staff and setting expectations for fundraising too high. Layoffs commenced. The super PAC absorbed even more costs. Major donors were also backing away, some of them aghast at DeSantis' signing of a 6-week abortion ban or his statement to then Fox host Tucker Carlson that the U.S. had no compelling reason to become further entangled in a territorial dispute, Russia and Ukraine. Billionaire Ken Griffin, a top funder of DeSantis' gubernatorial reelection, was initially expected to make a major contribution to the DeSantis effort, but he grew critical of the governor. The largest known contributor to Never Back Down, businessman Robert Bigelow, pulled back and said DeSantis had gone too far to the right. Trump's indictment starting in late March marked the start of a polling decline for DeSantis, with voters who approve of the former president. In polling and focus group, DeSantis backers and other Republicans found that many seemingly logical lines of attack on Trump were ineffective. Still, DeSantis eventually ramped up his criticism of Trump, a former ally whose endorsement once helped DeSantis beat the establishment candidate in Florida's 2018 gubernatorial race. He used the second GOP debate in December to assail Trump's absence, calling him missing in action. On the trail, he lamented that Trump views everything through the lens of him. DeSantis banked on a strong performance in Iowa, the first state in the GOP nominating calendar. He championed causes important to the evangelical voters who dominate the Republican caucuses there, and tapped into the Christian social conservatives network that powered past winners in the Hawkeye state. His legislative priorities in Florida echoed the priorities of Iowa Republicans, who also passed a 6-week abortion ban that got caught up in the courts. Trump, meanwhile, had attacked prominent conservatives in the state, including Governor Kim Reynolds. Reynolds, who grew deeply frustrated with Trump, initially said she was staying neutral, but then took the unusual step of endorsing DeSantis in November. "We need a leader who's looking forward and not backwards," Reynolds said at the November opening of the DeSantis campaign office near Des Moines. "We need a leader who will follow through on his promises and has a record of following through on his promises." The phrase "no excuses" became a sort of an unofficial campaign slogan as DeSantis leaned into the idea that he could get things done where others, particularly Trump, had fallen short. DeSantis fulfilled his early pledge to campaign in all of Iowa's 99 counties, racked up legislative endorsements, and moved much of his campaign staff there in the fall, yet Trump maintained a large lead in Iowa and everywhere else. As DeSantis struggled, the divisions in his team grew and spilled out into public view. Close allies of the governor launched a new super PAC late in the fall, and campaign leadership gave the new organization its blessing to effectively taking over advertising. Sideline and instructed focus on field organizing, Never Back Down saw repeated shakeups in leadership. Its CEO resigned. His replacement was fired less than 2 weeks later, along with 2 other senior officials and the chairman of the group's board, former Nevada Attorney General Adam Laxalt, a longtime friend of DeSantis, left shortly after. Scott Wagner, a Florida-based lawyer and college friend of the governor, took the helm and accused the fired officials of misconduct, prompting the group's chief strategist, Joe Rowe, to join the exodus within a month to go before the Iowa caucuses. Rowe alluded to Wagner's comments and said that they were false. So that's that. I didn't realize the article was going to be that long, but I'm glad that they went into that detail, because it basically gave us a timeline of his campaign, like from the start all the way through to now, and how rocky and like stumbling it was in between. So I'm glad that they filled in all the blanks for us, all the missing pieces for us as far as that is concerned, because I wasn't following it. So that was the article right there. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna play his campaign, not his campaign speech, but his announcement of him dropping out.
Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign. I'm proud to have delivered on 100% of my promises, and I will not stop now. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him. Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. The days of putting Americans last, of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology are over. I thank all of our...
There you go. There it is. He just couldn't bow out without saying woke somewhere in there. It's funny because that so-called anti-woke stuff that he was preaching so much, it landed him right back at square one.
He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. The days of putting Americans last, of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology are over. I thank all of our passionate supporters who've stood by us through it all. That we had people volunteer to come to Iowa in the middle of a blizzard to knock on doors and make phone calls touched us dearly. No candidate had more thrown at him, but no candidate had so many committed volunteers and staff. Finally, I want to thank my wife, Casey, and our kids, Madison, Mason, and Mamie. Casey's gone far above and beyond in her support for our campaign and for our cause. She's not only a great wife and mother, she's a great American who cares deeply about the future of the country that our kids will inherit. Our kids have seen and done a lot on the trail, from playing on the famed Field of Dreams baseball site in Iowa to making their first snowman in New Hampshire. They are one of the reasons we fight so hard for what we believe in. Winston Churchill once remarked that success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. While this campaign has ended, the mission continues. Down here in Florida, we will continue to show the country how to lead. Thank you, and God bless.
He's about to go be a political pick-me, y'all. He's about to go endorse 45. That's what he's about to go do. Because he still needs something to do. Because he ain't doing much as governor based on what I've heard. That's just what I've heard. Now, before I drop the link, there's two things that Ron DeSnowflake did last year that pissed off a wide range of Black people, specifically Black Americans. I want y'all in the chat to tell me, what were those two things? I want to see if I can jog y'all memory a little bit. It was two things he did. I want to see if y'all remember. I wasn't thinking of PragerU, but that could be one of them. But it was two things in particular. Kid Gravity gave one of them. Y'all remember that? It was because of him that Daniel Penny got all that money to that Give, Send, Go. It was his endorsement. That's one of them. The banning of the books, the removal of slavery, that's another thing, but it was another thing he did too. It happened after it. Dimpleface, the other one, showed up at the memorial after what Ryan Palmer did down in Florida at that Dollar General, when it was his rhetoric that is most likely, which is why Ryan Palmer did what he did. Those were the two main things y'all were giving. The ones where y'all talking about the PragerU and that's good. That was also in there too. I kind of forgot about those, but those two things, him pretty much endorsing what Daniel Penny did to Jordan Neely, thus leading to him getting all that money in that campaign, and him showing his face after what Ryan Palmer did at that Dollar General, knowing his rhetoric was a huge reason as to why Ryan Palmer did what he did. And also, thus, because of that, it led to us being exposed to that Jacoby Pittman chick. Those were the two things that really stuck out to me last year when it pertained to him. There's, of course, several other things, and y'all started dropping them in the chat. And shout out to Gloria for the $2.99 super sticker. I appreciate it. But now I'm going to drop the link. If anybody else would like to come up, oh, that's anybody else. No one's come up yet. If anybody would like to come up, feel free to go ahead and do so. What's going on, Wallow J?
I can't stand that motherfucker. Oh, punk ass, bitch ass, little dick having ass motherfucker. I can't stand him. Like, the only reason why he won Florida the second time was because of the Hispanic people. I think everybody probably knows that by now. Stop. Dang. Sorry, my phone texting me, but yeah. That's the only reason why he won Florida. He barely won the first time. So how the hell he gonna win the presidency if he can barely win his state the first time?
And he barely won against a person that got caught up in a scandal. That's the crazy part. Imagine if that stuff didn't happen, he wouldn't be governor right now.
No, he damn well would never have been governor. Down Andrew Gillum down there getting his. Never mind. I ain't gonna say that on YouTube. I ain't trying to get the channel demonetized. But yeah, we're gonna keep that away. But yeah, fuck him. Yeah, like you said, all of them gonna be trying to get. All of them gonna try to get be his VP. But like Kid Gravity said, that woman from South Dakota, that's the only choice he better get, because ain't nobody gonna vote for both of them together.
Right.
You saw how Ramen Noodle was on that stage with Donald Trump, act like he was like he was a man up there. He was like, oh yeah, I'm in front of his supporters. Bitch, sit your ass down too. They're not neither one of y'all gonna be in his cabinet. Only one that probably go back in his cabinet that was proven in his cabinet was Ben Carson, little bitch ass. But Jesus Christ. But I feel nothing for him. Carry your ass back to Florida, because the folks in Florida get already pissed off at you because you weren't in Florida for months. And that's what you're supposed to be doing. But fuck them. That's all I got to say.
All right, peace. Shout out to Wallow J. Before I bring up the next person, let me give a shout out to Denise Scales for the $5 super chat. She says, new Black Media Ban a year in 2024. That is right. And every year thereafter. Next up, we got Xavier. What's going on?
Hey, Torian. I'm good, bro. It's been a while. Sorry I missed a lot of your lives. It's just, work and stuff. So, but I tried to get as many as I can. I really love the work you're doing. This news was crazy. Everybody who has been following this saw this a while away. Most of these other clowns, including Rama Slimy and the Satan, as I like to call him, they've all just been basically campaigning for position in 45's cabinet. They're not actually campaigning against the guy. The only person who even had the balls to say negative things or criticize him to his face was Chris Christie, and he dropped out. So the rest of them are just basically just playing for seconds. Nobody. They were all in like singular digits at some point. I think it's only the Satan that had like double digit ratings compared to 45. But he was never gonna win. We all knew that. The guy's a weirdo. and you were right. All that shit he said about black people, man, like the other guy, like the previous caller said, man, fuck that guy, and fuck the horse he came in on. This dude is openly racist, and there's even some things in his past about him overseeing like torture victims in Gitmo that talk enough about. Like the dude is a sociopath from what I can see.
Keep in mind for a lot of people who don't know or are unaware, he has a teaching background. Yeah, Ron DeSnowflake used to be a teacher. I don't know who he used to teach, but I feel bad for whoever it was. That's because I can only imagine what was in his lesson plan.
My God, I feel my heart goes out to whoever the students were. Honestly, that dude probably has a basement somewhere with some weird shit. Honestly, he's just a psycho. You watch The Boys.
Yeah,
he's almost exactly like Homelander, but a shittier version of Homelander. But yeah, he's basically Homelander. Dude, honestly, all these clowns, I'm glad they're all getting their comeuppance. Really, I'm really happy to see them taking L's left, right, and center. Waiting for Nimrod to get hers.
It's only a matter. It's only a matter of time before she drops out because she did worse than he did in Iowa. So it's only a matter of time. You know, it's crazy how January is coming right now. We only got like 1 full week left in January, and that's this week upcoming. I wouldn't be surprised if she drops out before the month is over. I would not be surprised.
Oh, definitely. Ain't nobody voting for that. Nah.
Right.
She could go to hell, honestly. Anyways, thanks for having me. And it's always a pleasure.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for coming up. And also, too, and let me say this right now before I forget, let's not forget that he echoed the same thing that Nimrata just said about when they asked her, was America a racist country? And she said no. And a couple days later, he came right behind her and said no. And what happened a couple days later? He says, I'm dropping out. We just waiting for her to get the memo and drop out too, because she ain't making it far. Many are surprised she made it this far. All right, next up, we got Joseph. What's going on?
Hey, Tarian. Hey, chat room. Yeah, this is some good news. And it would be better news if Ron DeSantis is no longer governor. I mean, removed from office through the political process.
Yeah, I was wondering that same thing. Unfortunately, you know, he can go back to being governor. So it's not like he lost his positioning. You know, it's so funny because what's his name? Daniel Cameron, you know, he was what was his position out there before he tried to run for governor? He was the district attorney, right?
Yeah.
When he lost that, and I don't even know why he even ran, like he stood a chance, and he lost that. He couldn't go back to that. Like that job became vacant, so he couldn't go back to that.
I said it in the chat room. The employment desert is real. And before I got on here, I just Googled like his time in office. I'm like, wow, I really feel sorry. Yeah, Ron DeSantis. Yeah. I was like, wow. I really feel sorry for Florida because his term will be officially up according to Google by 2027. So you got what, 3 more years of this knucklehead? And
unless some kind of a scandal come out about him where he pretty much gets forced out.
Right.
Or some kind of ailment where he can't assume the office anymore due to health issues.
Hey, like the universe correct itself. I'm surprised that, you know, he had a teaching background. It sounds like he and this dude that came out of Pikesville High, who was caught recording spewing all this anti-black rhetoric to the students and employees at Pikesville High, they could be kinfolk. Like when you shared Ron DeSantis had a teaching background, I was like, he reminds me of the teaching staff at Pikesville Middle, and I was so happy that I got transferred out of there as quickly as I did. But yeah, you know what'd be funny?
What's that?
Just to go off topic real quick, GTA 6 being in Florida. What if Rockstar Games decided to put a mission or a side quest in there where you have to do a smear campaign on a political figure?
Then I can almost imagine how many of those quote unquote geeks and gamers types are going to call it woke. I can hear it now. They already did it. They already did it with the trailer. So if that actually came down to it, first off, people would know that that's like clearly going after DeSantis. Like they already know that would be definitely him if they decided to go that route. If they did that, like we can come right back to this and say you called it. And, like that would be maybe I don't know if they were watching because the game is still in development, so it doesn't come out to next year. So I mean that would be funny, that's what that would be different too, because I don't think any GTA game has ever done that. But I don't know if they're going to do it. But if they did it, that would be one heck of a mission for them to do. It would be funny too.
It would, but yeah, the political landscape right now, and like you said, we're not out of January. It's a crimson mess right now.
Right.
You really don't have anyone like the last great year of debates was in the 2000s, honestly. And you saw a slow decline like in the 2010s to now. So
like for instance, like when it comes, like say when you was talking about debates, the only reason I really watched the debates back in like 2016 or anything like that was because I was getting a good laugh. It was entertaining. I really wasn't paying attention to anything that they said because I knew it was probably a bunch of BS anyway. So I just watched it to see them do all the mudslinging, and I know I got a good kick out of that. So yeah, I do agree with you on that one.
Yeah, and I gotta say, last night's impromptu live, I'm still laughing about that. It was classic New Black Media material. And I appreciate you, Kid Gravity Beyond, and then next up and coming Black Media content creators keeping the work going. I really look forward to what else 2024 has in store. Is like we're in full gear now. It's like you have 2 quote presidential candidates dropping out, and February is around the corner. Federal Black History Month is around the corner. Oh boy. Thanks for having me up, though.
No problem. Thanks for coming up.
All right.
All right. Next up, we got Miss Nisi. What's going on?
Let us all take a moment to mourn the demise of the Satan. How you doing, T?
I'm doing good.
Anyway, all that hating. Where woke goes to die in Florida. Snowflake, skip your ass back down to Florida, and my deepest sympathy to all Florida residents. Y'all need Jesus and some more.
No, listen, but, they probably know Florida probably needs an exorcism. dealing with him as the governor.
Man. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Lake Lanier in Florida? No, that's Georgia.
That's Georgia.
Ooh, wish we can drop most of him and his people in Lake Lanier. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Anyway, I shouldn't talk like that. I embrace them. I'm embracing my full villainy.
Right.
Like I told you before. And all I gotta say, New Black Media content creators, this is y'all banner year, 2024. Oh my goodness. I mean, the 21st day, first month. Man, the shit show is picking up steam, ain't it?
It definitely is. It's like a runaway train, no dead end in sight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm off the phone. Okay. As usual, you be blessed, my baby.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. And like Kid Gravity said in the chat, the tree definitely won. Who remembers when that tree fell? Oh man, I had to make a shirt about that. Make sure y'all go and check the merch store out. And in honor of today, make sure y'all get that shirt in particular. The tree indeed definitely won. Next up, we got Till Dog. What's going on?
Well, coming from a guy from Florida, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now only 2 more years, and thank God time flies these days, because it'll be going fast. His ass will finally be out of here. And even if it's a Republican governor replacing him, because Florida just seems to love Republicans. But if you just bring somebody with common sense and rip all this down, all this critical race theory and all this other stuff that he's been trying to oppose, to basically whitewash Black history out of this state, and just take all that bullshit along with him. And it's like, I mean, when the news came down, I said, good. But karma ain't stopping with just this. It's got a long way to go with this fool. And definitely. It's just a shame that we had to put up with this for 8 years, because our only alternative was Bussy giving. Well, never mind. You got a new podcast with those two.
And one thing that many those in the new black media have always said is that Dub S doesn't know how to take an L. That's why you're finding that people like now DeSantis, and we'll just throw Ramen Noodle in there, by default, or as an honorary member, since clearly that's what he wants to be, all that self-hate he has. They don't know how to take an L. So what they did was they threw themselves and attached themselves to the coattails of 45 because they feel he's on the winning team. See, they feel like even though their campaign run is over for them to become president or to run for president is over, and that took an L, they feel like, okay, we may have, it's that whole in that terminology of we may have lost the battle, but we're not going to lose the war. So they feel like attaching themselves to the quote unquote winning team, they're still winning. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you literally lost your major part of this whole thing was for you to run for president, not for you to run behind someone else who's running in hopes that you're going to get a job or still look good in the light of their supporters, or to try to continue to build your following up. But that's what they did. That's why I called Ramen Noodles a political pick-me. And now that DeSantis has dropped out, and the first thing he does, I'm gonna throw my support behind Donald Trump. He's a political pick-me too. I forgot who it was that said it. They were just up here. I think it was Wallow J. I may not be a fan of Chris Christie, but one thing I can respect him for is that when he dropped out, he did not say, I'm gonna go endorse Donald Trump.
Exactly.
So I will give him that. If I don't give him anything else, he didn't run out and say, I'm going to go endorse Donald Trump. Ramen Noodles, Tim Scott, because he did it. And now DeSantis, what did they do? I'm dropping out. Now, Tim Scott, he didn't say it immediately because at the time, when he dropped out in October, it was really no big news around Donald Trump at the time, except what he got going on legally. But now that Donald Trump is building up steam, here he come in that video. I might play that video. I don't know if anybody saw it, but it's so pathetic. Like when he got up there and was saying he gonna support Donald Trump, and then you got Ben Carson coming out of nowhere, who haven't seen him since 2021, saying, "Oh, now I'm here to, I'm back out here. I'm still alive. I'm about to be out here supporting him too." So he's another political pick me as well. Again, these are grown men. doing this. I want people to just understand that these are grown men who are doing this.
What's worse, they're playing the typical. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, even though two of them are, well, one's white and one's Indian, whatever they are. But for Tim Scott, this is what a typical house nigga does. It's like this man didn't even go to any other debates until the last one, and he still mopped the floor with all these pathetic people, man, because they're just ignorant and just you can't explain how pathetic they are. It's like he talked about them the whole time like a dog, and here they go after they suspend their campaigns, running behind them like the little puppies that they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, I tell you what, y'all completely pathetic. Yeah, especially Dan Carson. I mean,
what a disappointment.
Yeah, it is a disappointment. Along with him, Larry Elder, and I'm gonna add Nimrod to this because they go around here saying this stuff about slavery wasn't that bad and slavery was all over the world and everything. It's like, man, get the fuck out of here. I mean, it's like you guys know because your parents and grandparents told you how bad these people treated black people, and you still going out here telling these lies about slavery. And Nimrod is just calling her own lie, saying this has never been a racist country, but then comes back 2 seconds later and says she experienced racism. Like, what the fuck? So it's
like she put herself in a blender when they got asked her about what was the start of the Civil War, and she couldn't answer the question, and then tried to clean it up and said, "Of course I know what started the Civil War, slavery, duh." And then comes right behind that and says that America's not a racist nation. Again, this woman is literally in a blender. And I'm telling you, when she drops out, I can only imagine what she's going to have to say. And like I said, when she does, I will be back. We will all be back to give her sending her pink slip, and sending her on her way.
Right. So, but here I am, and I had to go in another room because my kids was was in the same room with me. But I'm gonna have to say it just like those other guys said. Fuck them. I don't feel nothing. I wish nothing bad, in the ways of bad health or something worse on anyone like this. But if it happens, I'm like you, I feel nothing. And I'm not going to have any sympathy for it. I'm just not going to wish it on it. So, and that's because of all the vitriol and hate and that he stirred up here in Florida, causing what happened in Jacksonville to go down. And I got a few friends in Jacksonville. I'm gonna tell them, yo, please better not vote for that damn banana hammock wearing mammy that got in front of there and tried to that talked down all those black people that was born around DeSantis because we don't nobody wanted them. And she's talking about, if he coming with gifts, I'm gonna give him gifts. Well, bitch, here's a gift. Kiss my ass. So anyway, that's all I gotta say. Right. I didn't mean to come over and cut it on Sunday. but yeah, I was just happy to see that. So man, have a good week.
Okay, you have a good one. And before I bring up the next person, I'm gonna show y'all the video that I'm talking about, where Tim Scott had endorsed Donald Trump. Listen, it is so pathetic. Just listen, it's only 15 seconds, y'all.
We need a president who understands the American people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We need.
Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my God. He sounded like he was shitting a brick, like he was constipated. We need. My God. Sometimes you got to laugh from being to keep from being upset, but I'm not upset at this. I'm not. I am not. We need y'all. We need while bucking them eyes. Look. It's a reason why I got it saved on this screen. Thankfully, it was only 15 seconds, but man, that's 15 seconds we ain't getting back. He just needed to find a way to get himself back out there, and that was the best he could do. But let me go ahead and bring the next person up. Jacoby, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Torin?
What's going on?
Not much, man. Dude, that dude, like, you should put a toilet in me. Hey, he trying to sound that's and then Donald Trump was looking at him like, "What are you doing?" Like,
right.
He's trying to sound like Martin Luther King. See, everybody wants to be Martin Luther King, but nobody want to be Martin Luther King.
He is so performative.
Yeah, it's like Paul Mooney. Reminds me of Paul Mooney. Everybody wants to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga. See,
right.
And so what I wanted to say is about Ron DeSantis. Y'all have to look at his military career. He was, I think he was an attorney for the Guantanamo Bay during that time. Remember those photos were coming out, what they were doing to those prisoners out there. He was in charge of that. He was also in charge of all that force feeding going on down. So everybody might want to look into his military career because he's been on that one. So, I mean, that being said, look, we're all going to have to get our books like Hidden Colors and everything because they're going to try to. The reason why they're going hard after Black history is because we're making a case for reparations. And so they say, you know what, we can't stop this generation, but we are going to stop the upcoming generation. And all we can do is whitewash the hell out of Black history and ban it because we don't want our children asking questions. And that's what they're trying to really do. They're like, well, we can't do anything now, but we can do is whitewash the shit out of upcoming children. You know, so when the children come, they're going to think, oh, slavery wasn't bad. You guys were like a workers. You guys had workers' rights. No, we didn't. It was chattel slavery all day, every day. I mean, but they won't know that. Just like a lot of us don't know now. And so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get those old books like James Baldwin, all those old books you can't find, and just start storing them up because this is what they're going to do. See, I saw it coming a mile away. We need to get rid of that woke. That woke turned in from getting rid of the gay stuff, turning into get rid of the Black stuff. That's what they really want to do because they're really not making a case of getting rid of all that sexual stuff out of the school anyway. I mean, you hear about it, but you don't hear about it as force ways of getting rid of Black history. So that's really I see what they're doing. They're trying to we can't do nothing now, but we can do is really whitewash the shit out of it in the next 50 years. So that at this point, when our children grow up, they're not going to know anything. We're going to have them conform to the way we want them to. And that's what they're trying to do because they don't want to give out reparations. They don't really want to talk about what really happened during chattel slavery, and everything that went along with that. They don't really want to go there, and so that's what they're doing. And that's totally. But see, once they do it to us, they're going to do it to the Jewish community. They're going to do it to the Mexican community. They're going to do it to all the other ones. We're always a beta test for shit to fuck with, and then once they perfect it, then they do it to other groups. Case in point, the opioid and fentanyl issue going on. You know what I'm saying? They were throwing Black folks up in prison like it was going out of style during the crack epidemic. Now you guys have an opioid epidemic. They don't call it throw them up and lock them up. They call it's a health crisis. But see, they always do it to us because we are always the beta testing for shit that goes on. But not everybody realize that what you do to us, they will do to you. And so, if you want to stop if you want to stop white supremacy from harming you, protect yourself. I don't know how many times you have to tell them, Tori, You got to protect yourself. If you want people stop fucking with you when you stop fucking with them.
Oh, definitely.
And that's what you have to do. I don't need to really explain this to, but you know what I'm saying. And so when you see, they don't do no mass shootings up in no white stores like that. You don't really hear that, but they do like to do it up in easy targets. You guys, a lot of you old civil rights generations, you all got to get off that shit. Get yourself a hello. Get yourself a second. Exercise your Second Amendment rights like you exercise your voting rights, like you like to tell us. That should be more.
And it's also not enough just to actually get, your power tool. I'll just put it like that. I'm just speaking code right quick. But you also have to know how to do like even tactical training, because anyone can have their power tool, but sometimes you can even have that and still get caught off guard.
Oh yeah, you can't be caught lacking. No, I'm not saying just but you go from there to learn, because you have to learn how to use it. You got to learn how to aim it. You got to learn. You got to learn you got to go back into like, okay, survival, not just your power tool, but your hands. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn that stuff, at least the basics, because everybody's looking for like a easy quit. They don't ever go to the goons and do this shit because they know what will happen. They like to pick on. Yeah, they like to go and pick on elderly folks who can't defend themselves. And at this point, after Dylan Roof, all the old civil rights folks should say, you know what? I could show you better than I can tell you. All this forgiving stuff, man, I'm not saying there's not a place for it, because it is, but just to forgive out of fear, you tell them it's okay to do that. Then by you telling them it's okay to do that without telling them, you put a target on our backs. So it's when you show power, people will kind of fall back. Unfortunately, that's the way the world works, and I had to learn to kind of say, I understand, but that's what I wanted to say.
All right, thanks for coming up.
You're welcome.
Shout out to Jacoby, and we're gonna bring up one last person. But before I bring up the last person, someone had said they wanted me to play again. I'm not gonna play it again, but I want y'all to see this picture right here that someone got from Tim Scott. Look at this. We need oh man, we need
you. Are you dumb?
Yes, he is. So let me go ahead and bring up the last person. I already know who this is, but go ahead. Florida
Tree. Tree lives matter.
What's going on, KG?
Can I rant a little bit?
Go ahead.
I'm not happy.
Why is that?
This jackass, old Vivek, Tim Scott, Chris Christie, they denied us content. I woke up this morning.
I had water in my mouth. I had to catch myself. I almost spit over the mic.
Yeah, easy. You look like that video I like to play. But I saw the news this morning that he canceled his Sunday appearance. I was like, if this cocksucker drops out today, how dare you deny me content? You Florida back. Let me guess. It was too cold for you traveling across the country. You want to go back to Florida where it's humid. I get it. You can mess with black people more from your gubernatorial seat than you can do from, flying around the country.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. We punched our ticket to New Hampshire. Your people must be pissed at you. Them DeSantis supporters. They're mad at you. Putting
And he
people
had to,
out of
and he had
work.
to come on that video, and he had to come on that video and say it with a smile on his face, and it looks so forced. He looked like he didn't even want to be there.
Of course, he should have just went back home. I mean, the gator tail is real good down there. I'm just saying. But yeah. You said Nimrata might drop out this week. I think she's gonna drop out during Black History
Month. Either way, she ain't making it to March.
Oh no. So you know what? She actually said something very truthful. She said this was going to be a two-person race between her and Trump. She was actually right. Now I want to know how much he paid off DeSantis allegedly to drop out. I want to see. Maybe they're conspiring to have a Haley DeSantis ticket. I don't know. That's death right there. But you know. But he denied me content, so you know what? He's gonna get 15 minutes dedicated to him tomorrow for denying me content. Because now he's gonna go back to obscurity because nobody cares about Florida.
Who would have thought? Like, now here's the thing, Kid Gravity. You called last year. You said that in 2024 we gonna be doing it's gonna be a lot of content that's gonna happen. Now you call now, and technically you did call that right. But did you expect it to happen and roll over the way that it did, like consecutively, like back to back to back like this? Like, or you just expected it to kind of just spread out? You just expected it to spread out?
Not this early. Not this early, because remember, I said that Vivek was going to drop out after the first debate. He actually lasted to the caucus. So my foresight was a little off, but I didn't expect this. You had two of them drop out in the span of a week in January. You didn't even get to the RNC convention yet.
Exactly. When is that?
So that is in March, I want to say. It's right after South Carolina. It's I think like a week or two after South Carolina.
Yeah, he did. So he didn't even make it to the big stage.
Nah, but by then they've already picked. So you know, he's gonna be in attendance. He's gonna be there. Vivek's gonna be in attendance. I'm telling y'all right now, you're gonna watch Vivek's face when that one chick, Christy Noem, come on that stage talking about she accepting the VP nominee, and he gonna look hurt. He gonna be smiling, but he gonna be hurt because the Rona told him, yeah, you know what, you a good little asshole, but now we don't. Nah, I remember what you said about me a few months back. So yeah, we gonna keep it all white, and I'm sure he has a position somewhere in some back office that you can do. I mean, maybe you'll be the Secretary of Scam. You know, that's how your people are. I'm just saying. That's what Rona will tell them. You'll be in charge of the robocalls to get people to donate. Asshole. Man, I love it, but I hate it because he denied me content. But I love it because now we got one more racist off the board. He can't recover from this.
None of them can.
He can't, because you know what it is, and this is probably the only positive thing I'll ever say about this man. It wasn't his fault because people propped him up because they saw what he was doing in Florida and thought that was like the new blueprint. And you had all the fake conservative pundits saying that DeSantis is the wave. He's the future. If you need anybody else outside of Trump, pick DeSantis. They all put their credibility on the line. So it wasn't his fault entirely. He should have said no, but you know, he saw the money. But this is good because even though he dropped out, all these influencers, and I can name them, that rode with him, they just got their credibility shot. Hey, Tim Pool, how'd that work out for you, sir? You backed two bad horses. How'd that work? You know, usually when you back
Tim,
horses,
listen, Tim Pool got to grift as hard as he can. How else is he going to pay for that FUE restoration?
Yeah. You know how bad it is. He's over there yelling at his staff now. The grift is starting to end.
Oh yeah, that one domino has already fallen.
Yeah, that redheaded libertarian chick. Yeah, she backed DeSantis. Yeah, she looks bad now. Coming off that calendar thing. Ashley St. Clair is the same thing. Oh, this is beautiful. All the conservative pundits who were sitting there with Vivek and DeSantis on their tongue. Do you understand how great this is, Torian?
It's outstanding.
It is outstanding. We are going
like
to
the
have
Gap,
more
like
of a
the Gap,
market
like the
share.
Gap band said back in the '70s. Outstanding.
Yes, outstanding. Do you understand November 6th? We're going to have more of the market share. Do you understand? Do you understand the power we're about to wield in 10 months?
I await
Not
it.
9.5 months. The new black media baby is about to be born. YouTube is never going to be the same. Do you understand how many angry comments they fixing to get?
I'm rubbing my hands like Birdman right now.
Bruh, they gonna start trashing DeSantis within 2 weeks. All the people that backed him, they're gonna start trashing him, talking about he's no good. Because they're gonna try to say, oh, we was really for Trump, but we was that he was our backup. What are you gonna do with all that extra power, Torian? I would like to know. Don't tell me, but
I'm not.
Me.
Listen, I'm.
But
Yeah,
tell me so I can steal it.
Wow.
Woo! This is beautiful. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I shouldn't have want you. My bad.
I'm like, wow, where did that come from? I'm like, okay, Ric Flair.
You don't understand how great this is, bro. Do you understand Professor Blackwood had his Sunday address and he just scrapped it? Do you understand this?
Oh yeah, he definitely gonna be talking about the snowflake.
Oh my.
Harvey actually put his video up probably a good hour before I did the stream, and then Afro is doing his live about this tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna have to. Oh, Lisa already recorded. She laughing in between.
Oh yeah.
She had to redo it just now. But this is great. We not only gonna have more of the market share. White conservative pundits, you have a long way to get back to your audience, especially you females. That Trump grift don't work too well, does it?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Listen. Oh, they really exposed themselves after he said, "Grab the women by the you know what." I was like, "Oh, really?" Now I said, "Well, let's put a pin in that." All the women that supported him, which by the way, they had the second largest voting bloc behind white men back in 2016. So what's that? Oh, you said, they had the second largest voting bloc behind white men back in 2016 after they heard him say that. So y'all can't come out here. That's why I be looking at a lot of PC women funny when they be talking about women's rights. And I'll be like, who did you vote for in 2016?
Exactly.
Who did you vote for in 2016? And you out here yelling about women's rights. Okay.
But I don't know if you said this earlier, but how on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about this?
About him dropping out?
Yes, sir.
I'm about at a 9.
9. That's pretty.
I am about at a 9. When you think of all the culmination of things that he has done, when he as governor, and thinking about how he was going to try to translate that over federally, I said one or two things. Either one, if he became president, is going to be hell to pay. 2, I don't think he will become president because he has a lot of draconian policies that cannot go on a federal stage. It just will not go.
PragerU. Hey, PragerU, your your credibility is gone too, sir. Hey, Dennis, Mr. Dennis, you and all your black bootlegs. How do y'all feel now? Because y'all were back in DeSatan too. Guess that accreditation is never coming now. Because you know Trump petty. You know that. You backed him in 2016 and you backed him in 2020 and then you ran to DeSantis. Okay, you don't think you won't remember that. Sundays are great days, are they not? The Lord answers some prayers every now and again.
This particular Sunday is. This particular Sunday is.
I mean, it's great. He dropped out. The line.
And I had no intentions of uploading any content today. Like, I've now declared Sunday to be like a rest day for me. I had no plans. Exactly. That's why I had to come on here. So thanks a lot, DeSnowflake, for you dropping out and causing me to have to like break my rest day that I just established like yesterday that I wasn't going to upload on Sundays anymore unless I wanted to do like an impromptu live or maybe a midday live that I just couldn't squeeze in on another day. Now here we are because you wanted to drop out today on a Sunday. But I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Damn. And you know what's funny? I was thinking about going live this morning and saying that DeSantis was going to drop out, just to see if I could, because people would have been like misinformation that he would have dropped out. I'd have had hella views, but I was like, damn, I gotta get to work. But it's okay. He's gonna get 15 minutes tomorrow, and then we're gonna do the regular show. But this is wonderful because we got one more to get off the block, and then we won't care about 2024 that much. We'll keep our eye on it. But that race there, him and Biden, we don't care. It's just like, which races do you want to deal with? So we'll get that done. We'll worry about Congress because that's where the real fight is, and then we'll make sure to keep the family educated and tooled up for the next 4 years because it's gonna get crazy. Whoever you pick, the other side is gonna be mad, and the side that won, they're gonna go extra hard. Pause. But let me get home and indulge in my family because this is a good day.
Right. All right. Yeah, well, thanks for coming. We appreciate you for coming up, and thanks for coming up.
Yes, sir. And stay warm. And you know what? I hope your Ravens lose next week.
The Ravens not my team.
Oh, what's your team? Commander?
The team that I like, unfortunately, they got eliminated last week, Miami. Oh. Ironically, we're talking about Florida. But yeah, they got eliminated last week.
He just fucks over anything Florida based, huh?
Right.
Next, we're gonna have pacifist alligators.
Wow. All right. So
Florida, you really are the dick of the country.
That's why where you go. That's why I don't know if you watch when Lovely T had her her news channel, but remember when she was always talking about their favorite state, Florida, ratchet ass Florida.
Yeah,
I used to always look forward to her Florida stories just so I could hear her say that. But Florida is ratchet. It is indeed. And ratchet, the person who runs it is the most ratchetest one of them all.
You know what would make it more ratchet? If Memphis was one of their cities.
Wow. Oh.
Look, and they call Memphis Ratchet Town, USA. But man. But this is good. So end your. I'm gonna get off. You can close down and then enjoy the rest of your evening.
Will do. You too. You do the same.
Yes, sir.
All right. Shout out to Kid Gravity for coming up. And before I go ahead and end this off, I told someone I was going to actually I was going to start doing some promo for their album. They gave me the clip. So shout out again to Aces. I actually promoted them briefly yesterday, but I'm going to play a little sample from their song, and I'm going to let that ride out a little bit as a promo that they gave to me. So y'all go ahead and check this out.
You do you night and day, and you keep running till you find your way, till it all collides, till it all collides. You do you night and day, and you keep running.
That's probably one of my favorite songs on the album. That's just a sample, y'all. If y'all have not done so already, y'all have Apple, YouTube, Spotify, anything like that where you can stream music. Make sure y'all go and download the Aces album, Shades of Black. 9 tracks of nostalgic sounding hip hop that was released in 2024, created in 2023. Shout out to those brothers over there doing amazing things. And shout out to everybody that came through for the stream this evening. And shout out to the people who contributed. Gloria, Denise, and Tempest. I appreciate you. The members, the people on Patreon, all of that good stuff. Twitter, Instagram, Discord, all of that good stuff. Shout out to everybody who contributed to the poll today that I put up. Again, this is a test run, but I'm glad that I got all the contributors that I did. The first video that will be going up tomorrow will be about the 2 Asians out there in California. Well, I don't know if I forgot it was in California now who was engaged in that Target gift card scheme. That one got the majority of votes, so that will be going up tomorrow. And then, of course, the rest of them will go subsequently throughout the rest of the week. Also, I will be doing a midday stream tomorrow as well. I'm going to put the window up for that, addressing those comments that Marlon Wayans made. Marlon Wayans, you are a goofy for them comments. And if y'all know what I'm talking about, you know exactly what I mean. Y'all gonna probably be in here heavy about that one tomorrow. So that's what's going to be discussed tomorrow. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, or the rest of the evening, I should say, rather. Start the week off right, and we will be back right here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Be safe and be one.